Hello everyone, this is Lily. I'm here to answer the question, can you buy a home if you have bad credit? Many of you may think that you can't. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. It may not be easy, but you most definitely can do it. One of the programs that I want to talk to you about is called NACA, and I'll provide all the links at the end of the video. NACA stands for Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. It helps people who have bad credit improve, buy their home, and also gives them tips on how to keep their home. There's no down payment, no closing, and no PMI required. They will work with you for free. However, their online court, like if you choose to take a course online as opposed to physically going to the office, they're going to charge you $100. Now, I noticed that NACA, hi Aunt Audrey, how are you? I noticed that NACA is not located in every city and state, so I will also be providing you guys with a link to HUD-approved housing counselors that will also help repair your credit for free and also help you buy a home. One of them I've mentioned many times before is called Neighborhood Housing Services. I've used them myself in the past and I found them extremely helpful. Now, one thing I will have to say with NACA, going back there, is that process to apply and to take the courses can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on what state you are in and how populous that state is and how many people actually know about NACA. Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know that the program even exists and that it's out there to help people, particularly low-income people and particularly people who have bad credit. People are not even aware of it. And the thing about it is that you can combine whatever they give you with whatever housing grant is located in your state. The other way in which you can buy a home if you have bad credit is through a mortgage broker. They're going to have access to different lenders, and then one of the lenders may consider you for a loan. Please note, though, that the loan that they give you, the interest rate is going to be a lot higher than the rate that NACA gives. I think the last time I looked, I think NACA was like 3.5% interest, but double check because, you know, the interest rates, they vary every single day and I can't keep up. So I think that was last year I looked at it. But anyway, next, you can fix your credit yourself. You can go to creditkarma.com, and then you have certain banks like Wells Fargo, Capital One, and a few others that allows you to pull your own credit. And if you see anything on your credit report that is wrong, which happened to me, you can always challenge whatever's on your report. Hi, Olivine. You can always challenge what's on your report, and they have 30 days in which to correct it. If they don't correct it within 30 days, if they're not able to prove what they have on your report, they must remove it by law, just so you know. And then an additional way, this would be like the third or fourth way, if you have bad credit and you want to own a home, instead of going through the banks, you can do seller financing. Normally, what happens is if you have a relationship with someone who wants to move, or if you notice that there's a house that you're interested in and it's been up for sale for the past 6 months, normally that owner is desperate. They can't find anybody to buy the home at the price that they're trying to sell it for. So what you do is you can approach that owner and say, hey, I can't get a loan from the bank. Would you mind if we enter an agreement where I pay you monthly? I can give you a down payment and pay you monthly. These different types of seller financing, you have lease option, lease purchase, subject to, land contract, and a wraparound. Now, what you have to do though, you have to go to a lawyer and find out which one of these is legal in your state. I keep getting conflicting information. Texas, they've told me that they don't like lease option and that many places make it illegal in that particular state. Others have told me that if you do enter into a lease option agreement, they're okay with it as long as you pay off the house within 1 year. So that's why I strongly urge you to get an attorney to find out which option is best for you, and also to go over the terms that is in that contract. And just so I'm going to just give a brief breakdown between each one. Lease option is when you, the tenant buyer, not only do you put down a down payment and part of the monthly rent that goes towards, part of it goes towards the mortgage, you have the right to later decide whether you still want to buy that house or not. You don't get your down payment back though. That's the thing. Hello, Raymond. Now, with lease purchase, on the other hand, in some states it's the same thing as lease option, but in other places it's not. In other places, lease purchase is when the owner of the house decides whether or not they are comfortable with you being in their home. Sometimes if you're late too often, they might kick you out. In some states, that's illegal for them to do it, but it can be done. And the landlord or the owner of the home can also evict you for not making payments or what have you. So that's the risk. Subject to is when you take over the person's mortgage. So if the house is worth $100,000 and they only have $50,000 left, instead of you paying $100,000, you pay $50,000 because you're buying it subject to. You're paying off their loan balance. A lot of times that happens when you have an older person who owns the home and they might be moving into, let's say, a nursing home or something like that. So they want to get rid of their house quickly, or maybe somebody who's in the military who's transferred overseas and they need to get rid of the home and they just weren't able to sell it. Again, it's part of the whole seller financing thing. You also have land contract, where the balloon payment of the property is paid at the end. You get the title of the property at the end, but the equity of the property is normally equal between you, the tenant buyer, and the owner. And then lastly, wraparound is where the buyer makes like an installment on the note that's based on the seller's mortgage. Now, I'm going to tell you this. There are realtors that you can also go to who participate in lease option, lease purchase, subject to land contract, and wraparound. And they assist people with bad credit, but not all realtors do, because especially land contracts and wraparounds, it's a little complicated. It's not something that's easy. So most of them you might find easier to get a lease option or a lease purchase, or maybe even a subject to. Now, the other way that some people who have bad credit have bought property, I know that FHA, but there's normally a minimum income requirement as well as down payment requirement. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, but they only give it to you if you're going to buy in a rural neighborhood, in a rural area. And then you have the Veterans Association. But I do believe that they still have a minimum, and I think their minimum is 550 for the credit score. And also to remind you, no matter which one of these that you qualify for or you decide to choose, you still qualify for the First Home Club. program, which is offered in many different states from many different banks. The First Home Club program gives you money you can use towards the down payment. The requirement is you have to be in the house for 5 years. And that's across the board. So again, I will be providing all that information at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. You're free to share among people who you know who are looking for a home or were considering a home, but their credit was bad and they thought, oh no, I can't get a home. Everybody's rejecting me because I have bad credit. No, you have bad credit. You still can buy a home. Hi, Vincent. Sorry, but video's ending. Take care, everybody, and have a blessed day. Bye.